ladies and gentlemen, we are back again this week for another episode of Paozu Arcade. I am Meta Abe here with Hell Pockets with a special guest this week, Temple Storm Alex Myers. Welcome, Alex.
All right, I got it. Thanks for having me, guys.
And Chris failed to mute himself yet again.
Guys. Jesus Christ. Anyway, how you guys doing tonight? Welcome to Paozu Arcade, and I believe we're going to have some new people in tonight because people want to see our special guest say what he has to say about this wonderful game and this wonderful series. But before that, I just want to let everybody know what we're doing here. Myself and Meta Abe and Gibby have put together a podcast basically centered on Dragon Ball as a series, but the genesis of it is Dragon Ball FighterZ. We're going to be doing like Dragon Ball FighterZ talk, Dragon Ball FighterZ gameplay breakdown, and eventually Dragon Ball FighterZ gameplay ourselves. So stay tuned for that and enjoy the show. How you doing, Alex?
Thanks for having me. How you guys doing?
Great.
Doing chill. I'm feeling pretty all right. You know, it's a pretty good Wednesday. And all right, so I guess I told everybody that this would be our last Wednesday episode, but I might have lied. Well, don't quote me on that. Yeah.
Chris, I'm not surprised.
You know what the messed up part is, before the show we had a discussion about how I hadn't messed up in 4 weeks, and literally in a span of 15 seconds I messed up twice.
You should have been able to look into the future and know that was going to happen.
I mean, if I had Yomi like that, I wouldn't be like a podcast commentator. I'd be playing like in the top 8 Evo, right?
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay, Chris. We all have our specialties. Don't worry.
But what your specialty, actually, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourselves? Because, we don't really know you, the player. We know the player, but you, the person, don't really know that much about you.
Me, the person. So right now, I'm just traveling from state to state, just playing for Temple Storm. And I'm here because I love Dragon Ball. I've been watching Dragon Ball my whole life.
Yes.
I played pretty much every obscure Dragon Ball game you can think of, from like the Game Boy Advance games, PS1, all the Budokais, all that shit. So, I'm very happy to be here and talk about, Dragon Ball.
Awesome. So you have a background in it, and you enjoy the show, and on top of that, you are one of the best players in the fighting game community at what you do. So,
Street Fighter 5 specifically, I would say there's a lot more talented other players in different games.
Okay,
but thank you, Hellbox. Thank you.
Well, like me and Abe talk about this a lot, and it's a topic that comes up fairly often within the realm of Dragon Ball FighterZ, which is, who's going to adapt well enough to this game to get it on the first day, And you, as you say, a Street Fighter 5 player and a Street Fighter 4 player, do you think touching this game, from what you've seen so far, that you would just feel pretty comfortable going in, or is it going to be a little bit of a rough transition?
So I don't think it'll be a rough transition, because I feel like it's not like, I would say, like Marvel, where like how there's always like incoming assists. You got to hold these mix-ups when you lose a character in Marvel, whereas like you play Dragon Ball FighterZ, and I played a little bit at E3. There's no like incoming mix-ups when I die and stuff. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of emphasis on neutral. So I feel, because Street Fighter definitely teaches you how to play neutral, that this game's going to be very neutral heavy. Sure, there'll be some mix-ups, but I feel like to get in, you're going to have good neutral, and you're going to have good counters to like all the gimmicks. I feel like Street Fighter 5 teaches you how to deal with gimmicks really well and how to have better neutral. So I feel like it won't be too hard of a transition, really, because a lot of neutral, a lot of ways to deal with gimmicks. I feel like a lot of the Street Fighter players will have an easier time than most other players transitioning, except like not maybe Guilty Gear or like a Blaze Blue players, but I feel like Street Fighter 5 players shouldn't have a hard time transitioning.
Awesome. That means possibly even more people to play on the first week.
I hope it's a big game. I hope both Marvel Infinite and Dragon Ball do really well. I can see Dragon Ball doing really, really well with every community, though. Like, I think Marvel will get a lot of people from the Capcom side, but I can see Dragon Ball really unifying the whole fighting game community, because everyone's grown up on Dragon Ball. Everyone loves Dragon Ball. I feel like everyone's gonna have a place in this game.
Yeah, it's something that we actually been talking about for a few weeks now, where it's like, I know a lot of scenes may lay claim to this game, but I don't think that it's gonna be that way. I feel like it's gonna create an entirely new beast and bring a lot more players in the future, you know? So I'm really interested in what this scene is going to turn into and who's going to hang around and stuff like that. So yeah, man, I'm very much on the same line of thinking as you are.
As long as it's not like too chaotic, I feel like a lot of the people won't get too like pushed away from the game.
Yeah.
Like I can see Infinite being like really chaotic, and it might push some people away if they're not used to Marvel games. But
Mhm.
Dragon Ball looks like it'll be just enough craziness and just enough solid gameplay to keep a solid fan base going for a long time.
I actually got another question for you, and this is more on like the casual fan side. So I kind of heard you saying the names of one of the one of the supers or one of the moves in Dragon Ball, right? And it got me curious as to what is your first exposure to Dragon Ball in general, and like what was it, the Cartoon Network era? Was it before that? Did you find this a different way?
Definitely Cartoon Network era, because like when I first saw Dragon Ball Z, I was like 5. That was my first introduction. Like I didn't see Dragon Ball. I only saw DBZ when it first came out in Toonami. You know, like watching Raditz, you know, kill that farmer. That was like that was my first introduction. Like, damn, he just fucked them up like that, and then I was just hooked from there. You know.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, Dragon Ball has had a very similar effect on a lot of people and every fan that we see. Like, I guess, even though for you it was like 5, like, I mean, it wasn't the same time, but around the time I was exposed to, I was also 5, and that was around the time when it was released on, God, I don't even know. It was on Channel 9, like a local network. That's when I saw it.
I used to watch those like shit, man. Yeah, I used to watch those like janky like what was it, like Spanish Dragon Ball channels?
Yeah,
like,
those two.
Like there's like some those like Asian TV or something. I used to watch that too.
Yeah.
Everybody got it off like the Spanish like the channel, but I had the experience of
here we go.
Meeting a guy in like middle school who just had like the untranslated manga, and he spoke Japanese. So he was like, check it out, it's cool. And I was like,
he's like reading each page to you.
Yeah, right. I don't know what the fuck this guy said. He might even be lying to me, but it sounds hype as fuck, man.
This is part of an origin story here.
Yeah, basically,
I never heard this story before. Okay.
You never heard a story about how I got into Dragon Ball?
No, you never told me that.
Well, this episode's not about me. But I mean, maybe if we have some time later on, I'll tell you the story.
Okay.
You know? It's a long story, but it's pretty detailed.
I'm down to hear the story, Chris, for sure.
You want to hear the story now?
Oh, dude, you can go for it.
All right. So I met this kid named Jeff Matsuda in 11th grade, not 11th grade, when I was 11 years old, and he had the Broly movie comic when they used to like do like the movies, and then they would transfer like the still images to comic form. And so he had that shit, and he would read it to me like every day in summer school. And I'd be like, dude, that shit is sick. Read it again, brother. You know, like, please play it again, Sam.
How old were you at this time?
I was 11 years old.
I just imagine a like Kid Pocket sitting on some dude's knee, and he's like, listen, kid, I got this.
Read me another. Read me another, please.
Read me another one, man.
Sensei Matsuda.
Dude, he was sick, dude. He could draw the shit and everything. I was like, damn, you're hella talented.
Wow,
but then anyway, after that, I just used to like go to Japantown over here in San Francisco and go to Japan Video, and it had like all these like VHSs, both like legit ones and bootleg ones, and I would just rent those all the time, and none of them were translated, but I was like, fuck it, this animation's amazing, and I'm like super high on this shit. And I remember I brought one to school like in 9th grade, and like some dude tried to jack me for that shit, and then he like saw it was in Japanese, and he gave me shit. He's like, "Wait a minute, can you understand this shit?" And I was like a little bit. And he's all like, "Wow, you trying to make me look stupid?" And I was like, "What?" And he like socked me once, and I was like, "Oh."
The origin of the weeb. It's the origin of the weeb.
Fuck. I just imagine a little poor like Hell Pockets getting bullied. His dreads getting like dragged across the
Well, the thing was, like, this dude was, like, not even in high school. This guy was, like, an adult. Like, this is, like, a freaking 19-year-old man.
This shit got weird.
Yeah, this got real weird. Poor little 11-year-old is getting bullied by a 19-year-old.
What you don't know about Hellpockets is he's always been the same size since like 4th grade.
Yeah, for real.
Damn,
Actually,
dude.
like, I'll tell you another story after the show.
Really matched it. You know, about the same size.
But yeah, so that's how I got into Dragon Ball Z, and the rest is history. You know, if you see my Twitter.
Oh.
Sometimes you spoil stuff. Sometimes I gotta mute you. You know?
Oh, is that what?
Oh, see, you know what, Alex?
What?
Yes, thank you, man. Thank you. I've been telling this dude week after week, hey, chill. You don't need to like emphasize certain things. Like the show just came out today. You don't got to talk about it right this hour.
I'm like, dude. I'm at a tournament. Like, you're telling me about Zamasu and shit. Like, I was waiting.
That's your guys' fault. I watched an episode of Dragon Ball Super at Evo, so.
Oh really? Damn.
Yes.
Yes, he did.
Wait.
He
I got like
left the
commentating
tournament.
2 hours.
Like, yeah, I gave up $200 of commentating so I could watch Dragon Ball Super. Yeah.
I admire the dedication, Chris. That's pretty. It's pretty honorable.
True fan.
I'm
True fan.
all about it, man. Like, you know, it's just actually kind of cool because like I've never really met somebody who was like kind of a Dragon Ball fan. You know, they're either like really into it or they're just like, I hate it.
Yeah, I can.
And the people that
yeah.
say they're in between are fucking liars.
All right, so going back a little bit to the community talk, I do have an interesting question to ask you, Alex, and I feel like we have a personality here on. We interviewed Rhyme Style a few weeks ago, and we kind of got his perspective on like the YouTube community, the casual community for Dragon Ball, right? And I'm interested in what your opinion is on those types of communities clashing together, and what you've been able to get from that so far, and see what's going to turn into in the future.
YouTube community? Well, like,
I guess casual community, you know, like people that play like Xenoverse and like, but don't really play fighting games, you know?
Oh, see, those are the people I could see like maybe entering a tournament like one time, maybe like going to Evo, and then like never ever entering a tournament again, you know? But I could see that also like, yeah, because like they're gonna get fucked up too. Like they're gonna enter a tournament and be like people doing.
Oh shit! That sounds like the worst experience. Like
they can't move at all. They just lose in like 2 minutes.
Dude, like how much does it cost to enter Evo these days? It's like almost $100. Like I paid $100 to get rooted by some dude named Super Saiyan.
Super Saiyan.
All right. Well, I will say this, man. To our surprise, some of these guys are actually pretty competent. And I know Hellpockets can attest to that because there's some substantial amount of video.
I got ass blasted by Rhyme, dude.
Yeah.
By Rhyme Style? Oh,
I got ass blasted by Rhyme Style. I didn't know what the fuck to do. Like, I actually learned something from the match. I was like, oh shit, there's like a lot of stuff that, you know, in this game that if you don't know how to block, you're gonna get fucked, man.
You guys are playing? What did you guys play?
We played at the Bandai Namco event.
Nice, didn't screw it up. Nice,
wow, I knew you
nice.
were baiting me. I knew you were baiting me that
Nice.
shit. Not enough beers in my mouth yet.
Yes, good job. Okay, that's pretty cool. Like, I wouldn't expect, you know, a top 8 KOF placer to, you know, get ass blasted by Rhyme Style. But
you're right. So like, you know, like, don't worry. On the honor of this, I will never lose to anyone that is not a top 8 placer again.
It's a lot of people, man. Oh wow, Jesus!
You guys are locked and loaded, dude.
Oh my god! But yeah, so like, no, I learned that day, like, you know, there's like we've always been afraid. Like everybody's always afraid of going to a tournament and like running into that one guy that you don't know, you don't never heard of. His name sounds dumb. He's got a stupid haircut. God forbid he's fucking cosplaying. God forbid he or she is fucking cosplaying.
He's Super Saiyan Rose.
Right, and he's like, shit, and like he's got dumb glasses and stuff. And then, you know better than to judge a book by its cover, especially in what we do. But at the same time, you can't help but think this guy's a bitch. You're like, this guy don't play this game, man.
I'm gonna run him over. Yeah, I always get those thoughts. Yeah.
Like, put some real clothes on, son. And then he beats the shit out of you. And everybody's afraid of that. Everybody's afraid of that.
Yeah, no one likes getting random out for sure. But
random out. I don't even know if you can call that random out because that dude literally came to play. Like that guy's dedicated.
This reminds me. This reminds me of a discussion of pad players versus stick players, of like how back in the day people like wanted to jump off a building because they lost to a pad player.
Now it's like so common. It's like it doesn't even matter anymore, you know. But going back to like, you know, being scared of casuals, I can see that in this game for sure because there'll definitely be a learning curve. But I feel like if you played Guilty Gear or any of the ArcSys games, I feel like you'll automatically have an upper hand. You know, like I think give like Hell Pockets or someone like a week. You know, they'll get used to it really quickly. I feel like it'll be really hard for casuals to
just like dig into it. So
like especially well, Rhymestyle sounds like he kind of has played fighting games before. If he has blasted you as hard as he say he did, I don't think it'd be hard for casuals to really get into the game. You know, I think they'll like the game, like playing against their friend or something. But like tournament wise, I feel like it'll be kind of hard for them. You know.
No, yeah, because obviously tournament is like a totally different level. So at that point, either they're just entering the tournament for the experience of having entered a Dragon Ball FighterZ tournament, which you know is cool. We welcome that, or they're entering because at some point during February 2018 and the time of that tournament, something clicked in them. They're like, you know what, I want to go hard on this, and that's what I'm really hoping for. Is that we end up getting these guys who were casuals before, and they just love this game so much.
They look at the YouTube videos, all that stuff.
Yeah, they're consuming all that, right? And a lot of people are going to be consuming that just because it looks cool and because it's Dragon Ball and whatever, right? But there may be just one guy who's like, you know what, this makes perfect sense to me, and I can apply this like that, you know? And we got Dragon Ball Infiltration.
Dragon Ball, he's just winning everything.
Seriously.
I feel like that's one good thing this game has going for it. It looks very like easily digestible. So if someone really wants to get into it, I feel like it won't be too hard to like, learn your ABC combos to at least be like somewhat competent. Like they don't have to be super optimal, but they can know enough to be a threat, you know?
Yeah. And there may be a lot of casuals now who had maybe good neutrals in the old days, you know? Maybe they played ST or Alpha 2 or 3 and they had good blocking skills, and maybe they played Marvel. There's a lot of Marvel players who back in the day don't really, do anything now. Maybe they're Dragon Ball fans and they watch Rhymestyle on YouTube or some shit. They're like, hey, this is like right up my alley.
I like the way Rhymestyle plays. Yeah, go ahead.
So after playing the game, I feel like the people that really have the advantage are people that have experience in versus games, because there's certain things to consider when you play a versus game, like managing your assist and keeping an eye on the other person's assist, managing your meter with assist, and all the interchangeable possibilities that can happen with that. That though neutral wise, I would give the nod to ArcSys players. I feel like that's a whole nother thing that is going to take time to get used to. So
you mean like the neutral and like managing assists and all that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, you gotta remember, like, I think this will be the first time that a lot of these players are working with assists, and so that's actually a monkey wrench in this game. That is like, when we played at Bandai Namco, like we definitely were able to do the 1v1 thing. Like we caught that on pretty quickly. But the assist level of it was kind of like, oh man, this is almost like a totally different game. And I realized at that point where it was like, oh shit, like even if you play Guilty Gear or Blaze Blue or whatever, you still probably don't have much of sixth senses, I would say, for using assists. And then that's when the Marvel players come in and they can recognize those angles and like these archetype assist types,
Yeah, like when to call an assist to get a mix-up going and all that. Yeah,
exactly. And it kind of looks the same as you would expect from a Marvel game too. So they're gonna recognize that real quick. I always tell the story about at Evo in the third tournament, I got blown up by this Marvel player who just knew every assist to use perfectly, and it made it a nightmare to defend against. And so I kind of like resorted to like super dashing. Luckily, he didn't really know what to do against that until
was that?
I fucking scrubbed it up and I still lost. But like that dude was so comfortable.
What was that in? Was it Dragon Ball?
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about the Evo Dragon Ball tournament.
Yeah, the Evo Dragon Ball tournament. Like that match was definitely the best match I had the entire weekend in that game. and where I learned the most.
And that dude already grinded like that quickly to know when to call each assist.
Exactly. Now I'm not really sure what his standard, like his main character neutral was at, because like I couldn't stop dealing with his damn assists because they were just in my face constantly.
That's kind of how you got lit up by the other players too, like Orion and Willie.
Yeah, Ryan was calling assists left and right, and I was just like, "Oh, this guy doesn't give a shit, man." It was scary. I was actually kind of shook. Like Abe can attest, I was just like, I would have like stopped playing and get a drink real quick.
I was like, this dude's about to lose. I was like, you're about to lose this shit, dude. Did you get 3-0'd?
Yeah, no, it was 2-1. It was supposed to be first
Oh,
to 3,
okay,
and he beat me, and he got the second win, and then he's like, "Oh, I gotta go," and he bounces on me, and I looked at him like, "That's." I even said on the film, I'm like, "Hey, that's 2 wins, man. You got 1 more."
So come on, man, you're gonna deny me that extra game? Come on.
He owes me a run back. I still got 1 more chance to prove myself. It wasn't 3 matches.
You'll probably see him, dude. You'll probably see him eventually.
How topical. It was like not a 3 out of 5. This is the argument we've been having in the FGC for a while now.
Yeah.
It's too random. I can't win. Can't play in that environment, man. 4 out of 7 only.
Then I'm ready.
Oh my god. Actually, that's like, what do you think? Like, the thing about Dragon Ball FighterZ that everybody probably should be noticing by now is the fact that the damage doesn't really appear to be that high. Like
on Dragon Ball, yeah.
Yeah, like you see, like, or in the previous build, we obviously saw those really easy, dumb combos where people were getting like 60% off of 1 bar, and that had to go. Honestly, like even for like a 3v3 tag game, like that was kind of ridiculous. And so they've pretty much removed the ability to get those kind of combos off. And now it's more relying on you using all your resources, which, might I add, I've said this last week, you get resources really quick in this game. Like meter builds like that. It's so quick that you won't even miss it when you pop like 5 bars just for like a single combo. But I don't think that even with that, the damage is so high that this game will ever have to be 3 out of 5, unless people just, out of tradition's sake, want to say it should be 3 out of 5.
Yeah. The game looks like it should be fine, like 2 out of 3, because the timer is like really long, isn't it? Like
super long.
Each character, like it resets, doesn't it? Or like if you knock one down, does it reset? Or
oh no, I don't think it resets. But what it does is I don't think it does not count down during the animation.
Also, like when someone's like coming in, like a new incoming. Oh, okay.
There's no timer countdown on that, which actually makes another argument towards why it should not be 3 out of 5, because that little sequence is pretty long, and if you're a streamer, like if you're Saga or Hanzo Gonzo, you're looking at that and you're going, "Fuck no, 3 out of 5."
No,
We've been there with KOF way too many times, bro, and it's like even 2 out of 3s get insane. Like, fuck, dude, can you please just 2-0 this dude right now, please 2-0 this guy.
And even there's like stage transitions, right? Like you do a super, like a level 3, and it destroys like the whole city, right, or something, right?
Yeah, so there's the cinematic deaths, and then there's the ring out deaths, I like to call them.
Okay, this game's gonna be 2 out of 3 for sure. That's too much shit.
There's no way there's gonna be every 3 out of 5. It's just it's just too crazy. And then on top of that, you just add in the fact that the damage scaling in that game is pretty much what you would expect from an Arc Sys game. So yeah, I don't see
what is the damage scaling like? Is it like not that low, or is it low? Well, I don't know what Arc Sys damage scaling is like.
I mean, it depends. I guess it depends on what you consider like high damage. Like the high damage scaling for me is like, well, after a certain amount of hits, you're just like, not doing anything, and that certain amount of hits ends up hitting really quick, really early. So like in Dragon Ball FighterZ, like we discussed this earlier, like if you start a combo with a light attack, especially on the ground, your ceiling is going to get met a lot quicker than if you would have started with a medium,
Oh, so the lights just add too many hits.
Yeah, basically. But of course the lights have their utility because it's easier to land a confirm with those.
Your confirms.
Like you can kind of spam those a little bit, whereas with mediums you kind of have to like throw it out there. And I mean, thank God, most of the medium attacks I've seen in this game are pretty safe. I haven't seen any that are just like overtly punishable.
Not only that, dude, like you can cancel almost every single normal into something safe.
Yeah.
So like a really, really good like heavy attack, like if you're just placing them perfect all throughout the match, yeah, dude, it's gonna be a problem.
you can confirm off like heavies into like other things, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
say like I throw out a poke, I can confirm like pretty easily, right?
Right. Yeah. There's definitely.
I'm fucking. I'm in there. Oh my god.
Yeah, like it's
sounds
like
amazing.
I know sometimes people coming from other, like even KOF players, like we'll come from like KOF, and some of us trip up on the fact that you can confirm off of heavy attacks, and in KOF you can't always do that, you know. Sometimes your heavy attack is just like, hey, I poked the shit out of that guy, you know. And in this,
Like
it's like, no,
pushback
that's
move, right?
like if you hit with that, you better hit something else, man.
Yeah, like the most you get from like heavies would be like the pushback attack, right? Like
Yeah, all the heavies in Dragon Ball Fighters are, it's the down heavy is launch and the neutral heavy is the wall bounce, and both can be followed up by the automatic chase.
okay, it's pretty sick.
That's
Yeah, man.
definitely a plus that Arxis has been implementing in Guilty Gear in this game, where it's like whenever you get like a counter or even like a major hit, it's like a big deal on screen. Like they let you know you landed the shit out of that attack. Like continue, please.
Take your damage, yeah. No, they do a good job of letting, like you said, letting people know when they're doing things right in that game. And the cool thing is like they actually have a system built around that. Like there's not more than one wall bounce you can do off of a heavy, you know. And we're seeing combo routes now where people are doing the wall bounce and then they're chasing and they're doing an air combo, and the string leads them back into another potential wall bounce situation, but the attack that originally did that no longer wall bounces. So they're paying attention, you know? Like they know,
Like they don't let a heavy keep bouncing, right?
right,
Like,
they don't let you keep bouncing. Like there are ways to continue the wall bounce, but it usually costs meter, or you need a certain attack that does that already, and it may not be easy to combo into. Which is another thing about this game. Like when this game was first announced and people were watching people play, like, you know, Gohan, Goku, and Vegeta, people were just like, all these characters have the same exact combos, and it looks like it's just gonna be Magic Series. But at this point, I gotta say, like, dude, like we are seeing like all sorts of creative shit already, and it's not even, you know, close to being done yet.
at like 30% or some shit, right?
Yeah,
That's
which
amazing.
right now is really good.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. Like just them saying that like it's only like 20-30% done is really like really enticing, because you can tell there's like hell of potential, you know.
What if they're purposely underselling it though? Like it's like, you know, I didn't try that hard and I won this tournament, but then like you really grinded. You know what
You
I
really
mean?
grinded. Like it's actually 100%.
Yeah, like dude, if you guys saw me every single day, I was like killing myself trying to get good at this game.
I can see that. Who is the girl that's making it, or like I always see like a girl involved with the game.
Oh, that's Tomoko. She is
Involved in another game?
the Bamco producer. What? You know,
Bamco.
I know what you're doing. I know what you're trying to do.
You said it.
I said Bamco. Bamco. That
You know what it is? He said it right 3 times, and now it's only a matter of time before he screws it up.
That is accepted colloquialism for Bandai Namco. There, I said it right.
The Bamco mind fucked me. So you're saying what is this girl doing?
Just mix it up for you real quick.
And the stream.
But yeah, no. So yeah, so Tomoko Hiroki is actually the person who's basically the spokesperson for Dragon Ball Fighters. She's been doing all the interviews, so everybody wants to, like, you know, worship her and everything. I actually want to talk to her. We should try to get her on the show sometime, honestly. Either her.
Does she speak English?
No.
I don't even think Hellpocket speaks English right now.
I just heard like static. Oh god. No, Chris. No, the Bamco cops got you.
Anyway, we want to get her on the show, but at the same time, yeah, she has been doing a lot of the interviews for Dragon Ball Fighters, and all the information that she's been saying has been pretty positive for the most part. And I think the most amazing thing is something that we talked about last week, Abe, where she actually came out and said, you know, maybe we should re-examine this whole DLC costume thing, you know?
So, yes, which leads us into another direction, right? So, Now all of a sudden, this game looks like they opened the floodgates to so many things being possible. So many possible characters being in the game. The only thing that maybe is not been directly addressed is possibly like non-canon characters, which I feel are almost more of a shoe-in than GT characters for sure. But to segue into that, Alex, can you give us 5 characters that aren't on the roster right now that you want to see in the game?
Oh yeah, this is definitely a Mount Paozu arcade tradition, so we're getting another 5
characters. I want Broly.
See, I applaud you for that, bro. I applaud you for going for Broly because Hell Pockets is a closet Broly fan, and he just doesn't want to admit it. Doesn't want to admit it.
Oh my God.
Chris, let it out.
I have like one theory. Not even one theory. I have information on Broly. Just
God.
Like in general, like I spent one episode talking about Broly as a person and his psyche, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh dude, this guy's all over Broly's dick, dog. Like you want to give him like the Broly T-shirt and the Broly draws and the Broly toothbrush and shit.
Dude,
like,
you act like I didn't know you before we started doing the show. Like it's not all based off of that one conversation.
But I did Broly. I want playable 17.
I respect that.
I want future Gohan, like the
Gohan.
The Gohan that dies.
Oh, okay.
That'd be interesting. And
I think that's something that we mentioned on a previous show before. One of our guests did, but like that one has probably got to have like some high hopes. I think
that or Mystic Gohan. I like Mystic Gohan a lot.
I think we'll definitely see Mystic Gohan.
Yeah, or what is it? I like Mystic Gohan or Ultimate Gohan. Those are pretty cool.
Same, yeah.
Let me think. Pycon would be cool. I'd really like Pycon.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I want like either Vegito or Gogeta.
Yeah. I respect it.
Yeah. That's my top 5.
That's a solid list, man. I could
no super characters though.
Characters first. The super can come in, but I have a soft spot for the original.
I respect that. I respect that.
I actually agree with that a lot because I mean a lot of people are gonna say the original characters are probably just better in terms of like pure meathead fighter types. Whereas some of the super characters are just kind of like, oh man, like this feels like anime trope being forced into Dragon Ball lore, and I just have to stomach it, you know?
How dare you?
You know, some of the characters are cool though. Like I legit hope that like, you know, what's the fuck that
I just want to remind everybody that Cooler is apparently Hell Pocket's favorite character, so kick this with a grain of salt.
I didn't say. Did I say Cooler is my favorite character?
Yeah, you did. Oh, you're backing off a Cooler, dude. Oh.
I think you said one of my
backing off. Cooler's not bad.
Cooler is definitely my favorite character because he's like a better version of Frieza. Honestly, I like Cooler way more than Frieza.
I can see that. He's a cooler version of Frieza. Yeah. A little bit.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
How can you not like Cooler? He's got like the Shredder mask and everything, and he's like super buff and. When he wants to be, he can be like a giant robot with like half a face.
Oh shit. Yeah, Mecha.
That's
Cooler.
like that sounds like you're describing like an older brother. How could you not like him? He's like cool. He's older and he's buff.
Like,
he's pretty buff now, you know.
His older brother probably bought him like beer and stuff when he was a kid. It's probably who made him an asshole.
Same.
Like, can you imagine growing up with Cooler? How do you not turn out like Frieza?
That's true. That's true. I don't know about Cooler being my favorite character, but
no, he's mine. As a guy who did not grow up with his brother, he is my favorite character.
I said your top 5 like favorite characters. Like, what are your characters that you want in?
Oh, me? Us?
Well, the landscape has changed, Hell Pockets. So
that's right. The roster has been altered.
I feel like it is a legitimate thing to update our list. So
I would love to hear.
If it's only 5, I can do that like right now. But yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, man.
All right. So number 1, Rikum.
Oh,
Excuse me.
okay.
Jesus
Riku.
Christ.
Riku. Number 2, Bardock.
Oh, Bardock's a good one. I like
Bardock's
Bardock.
in there. Number 3, I gotta agree. I want Broly in there. I do want Broly. And number 4 is going to be a little bit of an obscure, not obscure because everybody knows who this character is, but in terms of like who you could pick in a Dragon Ball game, and I have a specific reason for it. Raditz, because a lot of the movements in Dragon Ball Fighters is not only taken from the show and the manga, but it's also taken from previous games. Some of those games like, Super Butoden, Extreme Butoden, and Raditz's move list is almost exclusive to Extreme Butoden. So if he has his Butoden,
It's the Nam Cops
I
again.
speak in English. Again, body.
No one will know this list. Never.
The reason why I picked Raditz is because he has a flying body splash that is what I say this time.
It's that we couldn't hear you.
You're like, your mic kind of went like fuzzy. It's all good.
Hold on, I'm gonna rejoin.
No! Don't do that! Don't!
Anyway, I was gonna say he has a flying body splash that is Cross Up City. It is so cheap. If he has that in this game, like I can imagine that shit just being like jump forward, jump over a character, backdash in the air, then do the freaking body splash, cross him up from the front backside anyway. That shit's ridiculous.
Okay.
Anyway, number 5.
Yes. Just a second, Jake, dude. It's like, well.
Oh, Jesus.
All I'm hearing is Ryan Fowl's popcorn right now.
Dude.
Have you seen that one meme of the English like black rapper? He's like doing like,
oh yeah.
That's exactly what Chris sounded like.
Anyway, I was gonna say my last character is Beerus. For obvious reasons.
Okay.
Beerus is a pretty cool character. I like Beerus. He's not bad. Okay, Abe, your turn.
Okay. First and foremost, I want Master Roshian. I feel like every game deserves their old master. I definitely would like Yamcha in the game.
Yamcha?
Yeah, totally.
No, Yamcha.
Actually, I do want to. So, I think he is in the game. Okay, well, I mean.
Well, he's in the game, I guess, dude. But like, that's like, you gotta be more specific than that. I mean, like playable. Like we know that he's available, I guess, or in the game, sure. But I'm talking about playable characters. So Yamcha, I like him in there. I do have to agree with Alex. I would like some form of adult Gohan. I just gotta see it, man. I feel like he does have enough of a unique character to make that happen.
Is he? Yeah. I feel like his moveset would be like a lot different from.
Are we talking like super adult Gohan or like Z adult Gohan?
I would want Z adult Gohan.
Yeah. Okay. To be specific, the Gohan from the Buu era.
Okay.
Yeah.
And pretty much like you said, if we could get the dream and get future Gohan, that'd be cool. Let me think. Okay, I want some serious super characters, and I want Jiren, even though he's not proven himself, cause fuck that guy. He has not fought anybody.
No, he hasn't fought anyone, dude.
So,
oh my God.
So this dude, you know what? He's off the list. I'm putting Hit on the list.
Yeah, Hit has proven himself.
Mushroom Tip himself.
Look, listen, Mushroom Tip has proven himself in the tournament and deserves a chance in this game, okay? So
Good old Mushroom Tip.
I'll give that dude the nod any day. And if okay, let me another official one. I will go definitely with Beerus, right? So I think I'm like either at 4 or 5. But
You're at 5, yeah.
a side one is like let me get Whis in there. You know, if we could get in there in there, you know, some type of angel action in there.
Wiz would be interesting actually because he, I mean, I think he's playable in Xenoverse, right? Is he?
Yeah, he is playable actually.
So he's definitely like free. He's definitely fair game.
Is it Whis or Whis?
Whis.
I always say Whis.
Whis. I have no idea how I said it either. I was just like Whis.
Whis.
Gotta take a whis because I had too much beer.
Can I take a Whis? Yes. But yeah, I was like, I like Whis too. What's his name, dude? God, I was trying to think of. Yeah, I like you guys' top 5. It's pretty good.
What if they go like super deep into super territory and they're like, they start pulling out like characters from Universe 2 or some shit?
Oh man, I would be so mad.
Yeah, I don't know if I would.
I don't even know who Universe 2 is, dude.
Well, so like, so they already said that there weren't going to be a lot of females in the cast. So we already know that Android 18 is probably the only girl. But if they wanted more,
Bulma's in it for some reason. I don't know where that came from, but I heard that.
Nah, Bulma ain't in that shit, man.
She's featured in the trailer. She's as much in it as Yamcha is, bro. So back off. Back the fuck off.
But like, if they really wanted to fill that gap, like Universe 2 has like 3 badass female characters right there. I mean, I use badass in the most loosest term possibly, but
that's the loosest term possible.
Looser than Kakunsa's asshole after 17 got done. Oh, well, my bad.
Oh, what? Did that just happen this past week? I didn't watch it.
No, that was like, dude, that was like,
okay.
17 got to be a badass and he beat the shit out of her, man.
Okay. I don't remember the names.
My triggers are at ease right now.
That day, man. Everybody was like super loose for freaking 17 that whole week. But that's at least 3 female characters they could get. So I would maybe, if they're gonna do that DLC thing seriously, I wouldn't be surprised if they do venture that deep into super lore, go to Universe 2, pull those 3 characters out, maybe as one full character, and she just has 2 assists or something like that.
Whoa.
I could see that happening.
Pretty cool.
I do like Kakunsa. Kakunsa is pretty damn cool, though.
I have to look her up.
Which one's that one, bro?
That was the girl that got beat up by 17.
Oh, that one. I think
the Beastie one.
Yeah, the Beastie one. She had like maximum spider and everything.
Okay. That'd be kind of cool, actually.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll accept that.
The chick in the BoJack movie.
Oh, Zangia? Yo, Zangia is legit though, man.
That girl would be kind of sick.
Yeah, and she's actually been in a Super Butoden game, so she technically has been in this franchise before.
Okay.
I can totally see her in this game. Dude, I'm telling you, 11 years old, me and Jeff Matsuda.
Legend.
Legendary.
Dude, I never knew the names of the characters, so I would just be like, Super Saiyan 3, that's Raditz, dude. that's Super Saiyan Raditz. That's who that is. And then we're looking at like Cooler, I'd be like Frieza's sister. I don't know. Moving on. Next. What's the next one? Coming up with new names.
When did that one come out? Is that like really old?
What's up?
Super Butoden? When did Super Butoden come out?
Super Butoden came out in, I want to say 91. I think that's when it came out. And then number 2, did I remember right? Maybe it was 96.
It was a Super NES era.
Yeah, it was Super NES. Is it 93? I might be thinking of freaking Super Butoden 2 then.
Oh, Super Butoden 2? Yeah, that was 93.
93.
Oh, wow.
Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, so it was 93. And
oh yeah, it was on the NES. I'm looking at all this shit. Wow.
So I've actually been making the argument that a lot of people say like, oh, like they keep making these comparisons with like fighters and Budokai and whatnot, and like, you know, I'm sure there's some similarities there because it's Dragon Ball physics in a fighting game. So there's going to be, you know, at least 5 or 6 things that you see that are, you know, mimicking the Budokai series. But I still maintain that FighterZ is definitely at heart more akin to the Budokai series, the Butoden series, because it is a full-fledged fighter, you know?
Oh,
and I hate to be like that freaking nerd that harps on like the most minute issue, but you can freaking jump in this game. You can't
Oh, yeah,
jump in Budokai, you know? Like all that stuff is just it's all gone. It's pretty much just all like ground spacing, which is it's fine. But
Dude, this shit looks crazy. I'm looking at Super Butoden 1, like it looks so weird. Like they're like flipping the screen and shit. It looks...
Dude, I'm telling you, man. Like if you want to have a really good time with a game that nobody really thought was legit, but it kind of is.
I thought you say a game nobody likes. It's gonna be
They definitely liked this game. Shin Butoden on Sega Saturn.
Dude, you're not cool if you don't reference Hyperdimension. You didn't never even drop Hyperdimension like ever.
Hey, Hyperdimension is hard. So
Dude, I'm looking at all this shit
blame
up.
anybody for not
Holy.
playing that competitively.
Came out in 1990.
Shin Butoden on Sega Saturn is probably it's what Ultimate Battle 22 should have been because they basically took all the sprites from that game and made like a more traditional Butoden game out of it. And the game looks beautiful. It runs really
It does look
fast.
pretty good. Wow.
And like there's actually a legit combo system in it. So
it looks like that. They're pulling out like anime kind of looking cutscenes and stuff.
Yeah.
That would be another character I wanted is Majin Vegeta. That's my side character. Majin Vegeta would be pretty sick.
Well, that actually might be possible because we have already seen that there are already 2 versions of Vegeta. And if you look at the website, you'll see on the character web addresses that if a character has a second version of himself coming up to the roster, it'll be clarified by some kind of initials that'll appear after the name. Like it'll say Vegeta SS and then Vegeta SS GSS. So it's possible there could be a Vegeta M. I don't think so, though. I don't think they would go that far. I don't think they go that far.
Now I'm like deep in the rabbit hole. I'm looking up all sorts of random shit. There's like I'm looking up like Extreme Butoden. What is Extreme Butoden?
That's right. That's the game you want to play if you want to get good at this game. No, I'm just
really?
No, it's a good game. It's fun. But I
game for
that's on 3DS.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I would actually look up let me see. If you want to see some Japanese competitive play from that, that is
they have like Super Saiyan 4 Goku assists. Hit is doing some assists.
Yeah, man.
Super Saiyan
crazy.
4.
Actually, that game was also designed by Arxis, or at least it had some Arxis influence on it. So
Android 17.
They said that game was only worked on Arxis through the sprites.
Yeah, the sprites.
See that.
I mean, you can kind of tell.
What the fuck is this character? This character is not fucking canon at all. Hold on. Like, look at this. Who is this guy? Is this
He's
Super
in
Saiyan
there,
4
man.
Broly?
I told you.
Super Saiyan 4 Broly? What the hell? Hold on, I'm just.
Oh god.
Oh no!
You're talking about deep in the rabbit hole.
That's not real. That's just not real, man.
Yeah,
no.
Is this like a legit game? I don't know about this.
There's a thing called Dragon Ball Heroes that exists, and it's probably
what the fuck is that?
It's fucking everything up, basically. Don't
encourage this
don't
game.
Encourage them, man. That's all I can say is don't encourage them.
It just looks.
Listen,
weird.
Super Saiyan Gogeta, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is for sure gonna be in the game.
What the hell?
Dude, is this
wow. Skype, sorry.
Super Saiyan 3 Nappa, oh fuck.
Dude, is this real? Like, what the fuck?
Anyways,
I've
I'm
never
trying
seen
to
that.
save your life right now. Don't go into anything beyond, like, if you see Super Saiyan 4 Broly or Super Saiyan 3 Broly or hell Broly God, just walk away from it.
Just walk away.
Walk away. You're just it never ends. Those people don't care about your life or the franchise. They just keep going.
That's like going down the rabbit hole of YouTube and listening to all the abridged versions like ever existed on for Dragon Ball. It's like, okay guys, it's like, okay, you've seen Team 4-Star, bro, but have you seen this shit? These guys get it. They get it.
Everybody has the same fucking voice and everything and shit.
So confused. That's pretty cool looking though. But is that like in the game? Like, is that in Extreme Butoden? That screen cap I sent.
Yeah, that's so in Extreme Butoden. There is a playable cast that you can use. Broly is one of them, and I actually think that Extreme Butoden's cast is probably going to make it into FighterZ in whole. But there is also a plethora of assist only characters that you can use, and that's basically the gimmick of the game. Is you keep playing the game, and the more you play it, the more assist characters that you unlock. And then they all do different things. They all do different things well or different things bad. Some of them do shit, honestly.
Okay.
And so like that's like it's like a Pokemon aspect of it, you know, where you got.
Oh, I just looked at the assist characters, dude. It's fucking. That's nuts.
Massive.
Like, what the?
Actually, Chris, I got a question to ask you about that game.
Android 13.
So, do they have Tapion in that game?
As assist, yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Dude, I'm telling you, this game has every character ever as an assist.
Yeah, they have Tapion. They have, dude. They have like, let's see. I'm gonna say
like farmer, man. They got the freaking farmer.
They got the farmer that got fucked up. Like, let's see.
I actually do recommend that people buy that game if they have a 3DS. Get Extreme Butoden. It's a really fun game. You know, if you can find somebody to play with, it's got a pretty rewarding reverses mode. I think that the system, while it can be broken because you know it's 3DS Fighter, it can also be, you know, it's pretty fun to play, and everybody's got broken shit in it, so it's pretty much Mark of the Wolves.
The fuck?
Speaking of Mark of the Wolves. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Who is this to?
Happy birthday, dear Gibby.
Happy
birthday to you.
Yeah, right.
My mic didn't mess up during that, did it?
The worst segue ever in fucking existence.
Wow, like, by the way, let me just start singing real quick. I'm sending the chat like some of these characters in like Extreme Butoden. It's wild, dude. There's Monster Carrot. There's Great Ape. There's all the Shenrons.
Yeah,
Super 17. Maju.
So I keep having this back and forth with Abe because he keeps on telling me that GT characters will never make it in the Dragon Ball Fighters, but I'm telling you, man. They can't help themselves.
Yeah. Isn't Majub technically Dragon Ball Z, like at the very end?
Majub is GT. Oob is Dragon Ball Z. Majub is Oob fused with Boo.
Oh.
Jesus.
Oob fused with Boo. That would be cool. But
which, to be fair, wasn't the lowest point in GT history. It was actually probably one of the high points. Like, a lot of people got hyped for that character. And then they jobbed him out because he wasn't Goku. So
yeah.
So that's why they call it, you know, GT stands for Goku time.
Goku time.
Goku time.
Oh yeah, dude! Dragon Ball GT Final, what is it called? Final Bout. It's the best.
Yeah, I love that game. That was
just forget we even heard about that one. Please.
That was the first fighter I got into. Like,
oh my god,
it was good. It was good to me. I liked it.
When I was a kid, I definitely had a soft spot for it just because of the intro. And then I would get past the intro and start playing the game, and I was like, I'm over it.
Dude, you mean to tell me that when you got your hands on that game, your hands didn't melt? Like, oh shit!
I mean,
I got Dragon Ball GT.
I mean, my thumbs definitely did because performing maneuvers in that game was freaking painful, man. Tore so much skin off my thumbs.
Blew my mind because at the time, like when I got it, I think it was like in '97. I was like 5. It was like around the first time I even saw Dragon Ball Z. So I was like, "What the fuck is all this?" Or like, it got gold hair and stuff. Like, it just seemed like it wasn't real. I was like, "What the fuck?" I didn't know about like Japan being it's all done and all that. You know.
You know what's weird about that? That game had like 6 Gokus, and I was all about it.
Oh, it did have 6 Goku. Huh. Yeah. I'm looking at them.
They had Kid Goku, they had Super Saiyan Kid Goku, they had Adult Goku, Super Saiyan Adult Goku, they had freaking Dragon Ball Z Super Saiyan Goku for some reason, and they had Super Saiyan 4 Goku.
Oh yeah,
we have questions.
Questions.
Yeah, I guess it's time because we're almost out of time, and we're gonna.
There's no such thing as out of time in my Paozu arcade, bro.
There's no such thing out of time, but I told Alex that we were only here until 9 o'clock, so whenever he has to leave, he can let us know. But let's try to answer some questions anyway.
Do a little bit more. Yeah, like maybe.
All right, cool, excellent. First question comes from GVG Guy, aka author of that awesome intro song that you hear at the beginning of the episode. Yo, one thing I've been pondering, considering how ABCD buttons work a lot, like in Unist. How does DBFZ's gameplay feel compared to Unist? I feel pretty qualified to answer that one.
Yeah, that's not me at all. you gotta handle it.
Wait, I think you're the only one qualified to answer.
I'm literally the only one that's played that game in this room. Mm, I mean, I guess it compares in the sense that I just call it the chain combo or the Gatling combo system. That much is pretty much the same, but there's no like special button for things like charging meter or shielding. All that is done by button combinations. You press like light and special or whatever. Usually your special leads to a generic key blast, or in case of Piccolo, you get a half screen grab. So it compares. They're somewhat similar at a basic level, is what I would say. Like when it comes to like just regular standard combos, but beyond that, I mean, they go in almost two opposite directions. And I would say Dragon Ball FighterZ probably has more in common with Arcana Heart than it does with Unist.
Okay.
Okay.
Dude, now I'm like looking up all these old games here. What have you guys done to me?
You better get on it,
Hey,
man. I'm
man.
gonna challenge you in Shinbu Toden.
Like,
Next question comes from Lionheart16, and if you want to ask questions for us, please join the Discord channel and ask it. We have a questions channel that you can ask questions in, and sometimes we get to them, and sometimes other members of the Discord get to them for us. So, pretty good community. Do you think the final boss of Arcade/Story will be an established character, most likely Towa/Mira, or something along like those lines? Or do you think it will be an original character created specifically for Dragon Ball FighterZ?
I actually don't think Toa or Mira will be considered final bosses in Dragon Ball FighterZ.
I have to agree because I feel like Toa and Mira.
That's a Xenoverse. Aren't those Xenoverse characters?
Well, Xenoverse runs in the same universe as Heroes in Online. So, yeah, nothing's really ventured outside of that yet. Like I know I said I wanted Toa and Mira to appear in Super, but now that I know better, I'm like, yeah, that would fuck everything up. I don't think they're gonna use Toa and Mira. I mean, I don't think they will, but you never know. It's technically a Bamco original in terms of they first appeared in a Bamco game, so you never know. They definitely could use them. But I also think that'll be an original character.
I don't know.
Yeah, because I didn't really play on the last Xenoverse, so I can't really.
Well, basically, like after the first Xenoverse, Toa and Mirror ended up being utilized in a lot of the Dragon Ball Heroes franchise stuff, and now they're like, there's like all sorts of shit. There's like a character named Demigra, who is supposedly even. You don't know about Demigra?
That sounds racist as fuck, bro. You need to explain yourself.
Yeah.
What are you talking about here?
What is this?
what is Demigra?
Demigras.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna attempt to say that.
He's a demon king from hell, or he's a wizard.
Oh Jesus!
It's a long story. It doesn't matter. I'll show you the wiki after this. But I don't think it'll be any of those characters. Those characters have been utilized only in Xenoverse and in Dragon Ball Heroes. And in Dragon Ball Heroes, they've already been done to death. And I don't see Bamco or Arxis utilizing them, especially when they have the opportunity for Arxis to create an original character, which they are totally capable of doing, and it would be freaking fire.
He looks pretty cool, actually. I just looked him up. Demigra?
Demigra's all right, but like, don't look up Heroes Demigra. It's pretty OD.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up.
What did I just say? Second question from Lionheart16. Which do you prefer, Big Bang Kamehameha or Final Kamehameha?
Ooh, Final Demigra.
So Big Bang Kamehameha is Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta's attack, the final attack. Or Final Kamehameha.
Oh, that sounds sick, dude.
It's like they combine both of their moves into one attack.
Yeah.
Final Kamehameha, despite Super using it as Vegeta Blue's attack against Fuse Zamasu, is actually Gogeta's attack, because Gogeta used that final attack in Shinbu Toden and Ultimate Battle 22. I'm assuming.
Wait. So before it was ever used on Super, it was used on.
Video game.
Yeah. Oh,
So
okay.
Super actually stole that from a video game.
I remember. They did.
Awesome.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Dude, you weren't kidding. There's 6 Gokus in Final. I'm still looking at this.
But the thing was, when we were kids, we were just like, cool, 6 Gokus, like that's perfect. That's like the right
It
number.
makes no sense now, dude.
It's like the shoutouts of Dragon Ball. Like, oh, dude, give me Akuma, give me Ken,
give me Ken, give me
Ryu.
Saga, give me all these Goku.
Does
What?
Sakura
I
really
don't
count
want
as a Shoto?
the thing that
you
always
would be the expert on that, right? Does
no,
Sakura?
she's like, God, what were they?
She's
I
more
forgot
of
what
a
they call
Yuri.
her. Yeah, she's like a Yuri. She's not a Shoto. She's like a hybrid. But
More of a.
the thing that I'm
Sakazaki.
gonna post this back in the chat. I already posted. Wait, no, look at the last link I posted in the chat. It's not displayed underneath player select, but there's like one dragon. There's a Super Saiyan Goku, and then directly to the left, there's another Super Saiyan Goku. Like what? Why is there 2?
It's
Super
90s,
Saiyan
man.
Gokus? Bro,
If you
me. This is confusing
Okay.
for like. This is confusing for like 15 years, dude.
Here's the craziest part about the whole Super Saiyan thing, right? They could not give you enough Super Saiyan that they give you the in-between version of the next Super Saiyan, Ascended Saiyan. Like, okay, before we get to the dope shit, hold on a second. There's Ascended Saiyan, and then we have Super Saiyan 2.
Is that what that was? Is that what they're going for?
I'm not sure actually, but I just know it exists.
Oh, okay. Because I see a Super Saiyan Goku in his regular like gi, and then Dragon Ball GT Super Saiyan Goku. I don't know, dude. It's just this has been bothering me for a long time. I'm pretty sure there's no solid answer.
This was before they had DLC costumes. So if you want alternate costumes, you had to get a whole different character.
Shit, is that what that is? That makes sense actually.
That's exactly what it is, man.
Okay, that makes more sense. Oh.
They didn't know how to reskin.
Okay, now I'm not so confused. That makes a lot more sense looking at that now. If there were to be, look, I'm gonna close the show off with this one. So if there was a Dragon Ball GT character, or maybe would you want in the?
I think this is a question for Abe more than this.
What? How's this a question for me?
Because you've been hating on Dragon Ball GT this whole time.
Yeah, that's why it's not a good question for me.
Okay, you want
the final bout? I'm looking at the final bout. Some of these characters kind of cool looking, you know.
Yeah,
so
I would if it was me and it was a GT character that I wanted in there. Probably Majub.
Majub would be cool.
Majub is probably the only choice you could go with, other than Omega Shenron.
Well, I like
What's up?
Baby. He might be
Oh.
cool.
As long as he's not in Ozaru form.
Oh, is that the ape form?
Yeah, he can't be in ape form because I don't know. Maybe they will have an ape boss in this game. You never know.
Saying baby. Oh, Super 17. Someone said that in the chat. That would be pretty cool. I think that.
Oh, dude. If Super 17 was in the game, there'd be hella mad people right now.
Really?
Because everybody's hella pissed because 17 is in his own character. And so what if Super 17 is like the 17 representation and it's like, hey, here's your 17. And
no, I'd be triggered. I would be triggered. I need regular 17. Wait, why? Does anyone know why 17 was super? Like, what was so super about?
It was 17 fusing with the evil 17 that Jiro and Wheelo created inside in Hell.
That makes no sense.
So,
what?
Yes, they fused and basically they absorb each other like Cell absorbs 18 and 17 and became a humanoid version.
That's just bad writing right there.
They took a lot of liberties in GT, dude.
Freaking awful.
They took a lot of liberties, yeah. Because Tomo wasn't involved, right? Or like what's his name? Not Tomo. He wasn't involved.
I mean, honestly, man, like I don't think Toriyama would ever I don't think he would do anything differently. I think he would have.
What the fuck?
I think he looked at that and he was like, "Yeah, I'd probably do that."
I'd probably do that. Yeah.
No way.
I don't know.
No way.
Dude, like the entirety of the Boo
You're-
saga was
You're
just,
just
like,
making shit up now, dude.
I-
It's like I think Akira Toriyama would be totally cool with it. Well, he'd be like, nah, I don't
I
fuck
didn't
with
say
that
he'd be
series.
cool with it. I just said he probably looked at that and be like, yeah, I probably would have did that too.
That's
doesn't
even
mean
worse
he's
than
cool with
being
it.
cool with it. That's like,
Exactly.
nah,
It is
I
worse
would
than
have
being
made
cool
that.
with it.
No, dude, there's no way.
Dude,
I just
are you kidding me? He made the Boo saga. The Boo saga is unequivocally the worst saga in Dragon Ball Z history, and that's what allowed GT to do all that BS to begin with.
Why did it
Dude,
allow it?
this
What do you
is-
think?
Why did it allow it?
Yeah.
First of all, the whole merging of characters was
Oh
like
yeah, that's true.
totally overblown because
how
of that.
dare you?
How dare you?
How
And
dare
Toriyama
you?
will tell you himself that I can't fucking write. I might be an all right artist, and I might make the hypest anime characters in anime history, but I can't write my way out of a paper bag.
Oh.
That's exactly how he sounds.
Damn.
Imagine if he could understand Japanese and he has that accent.
Exactly.
Like
Sounds like Al Gore mixed with Al Gore fused with freaking what's his name? God from like
The-
Bruce Almighty.
The future interview that you end up having with Akira Toriyama is gonna be fucking hilarious because I'm not gonna let you live that down,
is he
dude.
gonna just play
I'm
the
not-
deck like motherfucker? Did you think I wouldn't hear you saying that shit?
We're gonna have a Mount Paozu arcade classic here when Akira Toriyama, because I'm like, hey bro, so apparently Hell Pockets is like, you said you can't write for shit. Boo Saga was whack as fuck, and GT's your fault.
And
It's
he'd be
all
like,
your fault.
you know what? He's right to say that because
You
I
know,
didn't know what I was smoking at the time. I had a great ending with the Cell Saga, but damn it, that money was just too much to pass up. And so I decided to make Gohan the hero. But damn it, these Japanese weeaboos just wouldn't let me end the story with Gohan finishing off Majin Buu. So I had to bring Goku back from the dead. And then I had to bring Vegeta back from the dead, except he wasn't really dead. And then I had to fuse them together until they make Vegito. And then they didn't like Vegito, so I had to kill Vegito. And then I had to have Goku kill Kid Buu on another planet.
My brain cells.
Are you happy now?
I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, GT's way better. Yeah, GT's way better than that.
Abe, what do you think is the worst Dragon Ball arc in the regular Z series?
Shit, I might agree. Like, Boo was pretty whack. Like,
Boo is pretty whack. Looking back at it now, yeah. Like when I rewatched Frieza and Cell Saga,
yeah.
it's like, yeah. As a kid, you're like, yeah, this is cool. Like, you know, you don't really think of like one's worse than the other, you know. But Boo. It was kinda
Okay, I'd say this: the most meaningful one for me, growing up as a kid, and since like I never knew anything about the character Trunks, I just saw his image, right? And when I finally saw the actual like animation when he was his first introduction, like that shit really got me, dude. I was like, fuck, it's fucking Trunks, bro. Like he's fucking here. Like I'm watching an episode with Trunks. Like I never had that same feeling with any other episode on there where I was like just like overly elated to have a character on there.
Oh, I know, dude. Trunks, when he first came out, dude, that was something else. That ever since then, Trunks has been my favorite. He's just really sick.
think
I
Trunks
didn't
is
like Trunks in Super that much. He was kind of whack, but was really.
I was gonna say that Trunks is probably Toriyama's finest moment because he actually had to write a tragic character.
Yeah, he was pretty tragic.
He had to. He attempted to do that with Vegeta at first, but Vegeta's tragic story had already unfolded, and he was basically already an asshole because of it. So you basically got to see Trunks' story unfold in real time, and you get to experience like all the messed up things that happened to him.
Yeah,
and why he was the way he was, and what his motivations were, and you were just like, oh man, that shit pulls you in, you know. You're like, oh shit, that sucks. They killed your boy. And so then they tried to do that. And the reason why you don't like the Super Trunks is because they try to do it again by having Black kill his mom, kill Future Bulma. And you don't feel nearly as much about that as you do for watching Future Gohan getting toasted by the androids.
True, that was a big moment for me, dude. I was like, oh,
That's
fuck.
like a huge moment, dude.
That was fucked up. Yeah.
Like, it doesn't help the fact that when Trunks realizes his mom is dead, he's just like, man, that sucks. And I don't get any stronger from that.
Oh, yeah. When fucking Gohan dies, he goes Super Saiyan and
What's
shit.
Super
Man.
Saiyan for that motherfucker? My mom died, like, man,
This
we
dude,
hate that guy.
Man,
This dude was fucking up 2 androids with 1 arm. What a badass.
That's pretty sick, dude. Oh,
And
I'm gonna probably go rewatch that when
I was gonna say the real reason why Boo is probably the worst saga in Dragon Ball Z history is because there's no personal involvement in it whatsoever. It is completely the characters, the heroes of Dragon Ball Z, solving somebody else's problem. It just happens to be on Earth, so directly impacts them at that point. But there's no background story to it. There's no like, hey, Goku killed my son and destroyed my army. There's no, hey, this guy destroyed our planet and killed both of our fathers. Hey, there's no, your brother came to pick you up and take you back home so we could serve that dude. There's none. All that's gone. It's literally just like, hey, Goku came back from the dead, and hey, some shit's happening. We better get on that shit.
Dude, to tie that whole thing off, I really feel this is the problem, right? With Cell Saga, they had a bunch of different versions of Cell, right? They had the original, and then when he swallowed up 17, and then when he finally is complete, right? I felt like he was like, okay, you guys like this shit? Wait till you see the Boo Saga, where it's like 30 fucking Boos and like 4 versions of Goku, 3 versions of Vegeta, and oh yeah, they get a fuse too. Oh, and fucking Boo absorbs adult Gohan, which is like, yes, thank you.
Like, yes.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank me later.
It sounds really cool, but I think it was like just too much. Like it was too reliant on like gimmicks, kind of. Like the story wasn't as strong. Yeah. And the characters are cool though. I like the characters.
No, the character, like the Boo character, is cool. I won't even like lie about that. It's just the fact that they kept it going through the dumbest shit. Like, we had to believe that after Gohan had achieved this ultimate form of power, that he would just get bodied by some freaking like some bed sheets. Like this guy turned his body into a bed sheet.
Oh yeah, I know.
It
was bodying him for like most of the whole like fight, and then
like he just got bed sheet. Like, why didn't that guy just freaking throw the sheet on him in the first place, right? If that's right, you could, like, dude, you couldn't just blast your way out of the freaking rubber. Like, come on.
I feel like that's like how most Dragon Ball, like oh, they could have killed him right here, but they draw it out for like 20 episodes.
At least with the Cell versus Super Saiyan 2 Gohan fight, like he literally said, "I want him to suffer. I don't want to kill him. I want to make this guy cry."
There's some context, yeah.
Yeah, and this one was just like, I got bodied by a bed sheet.
I got bodied by. That's how I go out.
Yeah, basically, right? And not only him, but Gotenks, Piccolo, like everybody just went down.
I forgot about that, dude. I forgot about Gotenks and him turning Super Saiyan to Super Saiyan 3. Oh shit,
And that's why whenever somebody tells me that Caulifla and Kale are the cheapest Super Saiyans in Dragon Ball history, I'm like, motherfucker, you missed the entirety of the Boo Saga.
The Boos. You think Super Saiyan 3
didn't even watch this show, man? That shit was ruined decades ago, man. I was in high school when they ruined that. Don't tell me that Kale and Caulifla are ruining Super Saiyans for everybody.
That was kind of whack though, like how they just kind of like had it, like there's no real reason why they were Super Saiyan.
There was none with Goten and Trunks. Why should it be with Caulifla and Kale?
It's true. Goten and Trunks just kind of got it, huh?
Yeah.
Didn't they start off with like Goten had it already, or how did that happen? When did they have Super Saiyan? Like when did Trunks get Super Saiyan?
Both were 6 and 7 respectively.
No, I mean like did it start off where they introduced being Super Saiyan? Like did they just have it?
And
like
they just showed up on the scene by having it. They were just like, "Hey, let's train." Boom, got Super Saiyan, and everybody was like, "Whoa, what?"
Yeah,
and they said, "Yeah, we can just do it." So
that kind of triggers me now. I'm glad I ignored that for so long.
Well, nobody tripped off it because it was just like, well, Dragon Ball Z is still making like manga chapters and episodes. They're gonna fuse now. There was enough gimmicks involved that made you forget that the transformation that only occurred when Goku watched his best friend in the world get exploded is now reduced to his son and his son's best friend just feeling like doing it. Which is fine with me. I'm fine with it.
I guess it just kind of, they just said fuck it at the point and like, everyone has it. You get a Super Saiyan. He gets a Super Saiyan.
Basically, yeah.
Well, dude,
Yeah.
to finish this off, basically, I hope it doesn't go that way with Dragon Ball Fighter. I hope we don't have like God. I know people will be mad, but I hope we don't get like 7 versions of each character.
Oh yeah, that'd be wild.
It is what it is. If it's a true fighting game, I don't want that.
I think the most we're gonna get is 2.
That's fine.
Doesn't sound too bad.
But yeah, so we're gonna tie off this show, guys. Want to give a big thank you to Tempo Alex Myers for hanging around and having this wonderful conversation with us, man. We dug pretty deep today.
Yeah, we did. Thank you for having me, guys. Let me know if you ever want to do this again.
If you get into beta, we'd definitely like to have you back and have your thoughts on it.
Yeah, for sure.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, for everybody, man.
And another thing before we sign off, Hell Pockets kind of segued horribly into it, giving a good happy birthday song to Gibby. Our producer, Manchester, yeah, make sure you give this guy some love on Twitter or here in chat room. This dude is like the thread that binds us all in the fighting game community. I think like this dude is like the Kevin Bacon of the fighting game scene.
Kevin.
Yeah, dude.
Kevin Ryan?
What?
You just slap DB in the face right now.
No, stop! Can you let me finish? Chris, God, for the love of God, let me finish. Oh my God.
Sorry, Gibby.
Jesus Christ. Anyways, like I was saying, please give me some love, man. He's a great guy. He's our producer, and he holds it down for us a lot over here at Game Goons. And if he was not around, this would be even more of a disaster ending than it already has become. But like I said, give him some love, man. Happy birthday, Gibby, from us. Happy birthday, man. From here at Mount Paozu Arcade. And to tie it off, yeah, if you guys get a chance, hit up our YouTube, man, and check out some of the videos we put out. We have a lot of footage for Dragon Ball FighterZ if you haven't checked it out already. A few episodes of commentary footage that our fellow goons have partaken in for the super episodes. And yeah, just give us a follow and give us a look, man. I really appreciate you guys for hanging around this whole stream. And we'll be back next week, man, for Super. And I hope all you guys in the chat room get those beta codes, man. I hope you guys all get in on this. And yeah, thanks a lot, man. Yeah, and I'm gonna hand this off to Chris and take us home, man.
I just wanted to say there's no Super episode next week, so we can all take a break.
RIP.
But beta. Let's hope we all get into beta.
Yeah,
anyway, I want to thank you guys for all watching the episode. I want to thank our illustrious guest, Alex Myers of Temple Storm fame, joining us.
Thank you.
And once again, happy birthday to Gibby, my big brother. I love you, man. Hope you're having a good one. And to everybody at home, have a safe and enjoyable Keep It Super. You know what I'm saying?